Hello there, welcome to the channel, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you guys how to use or implement a perspective matrix to your code. So so the first thing is I'm gonna come here in my script to JS. As you can see, I have my index.html. I've already written that down, so now I just have to add my script to JS. So what I do is I'm gonna go to my previous code from the previous lesson, which was lesson 8. I'm gonna copy that, I'm gonna paste it here, right? Okay, cool. Now if I run this, we should see our cube, the one that we created in the previous lesson, right? Okay, cool. Now before we jump into the code of the perspective matrix, we first need to understand what is a perspective, right? So a perspective basically is how the human eye works, right? So the human eye, it views everything in the form of a perspective. That's how the human eye works. So if I took if I drew the number 9 on the floor, and then I took two people and I placed them opposite the number, you know, both the both persons are gonna have different perspectives of the number. One is gonna see the number 9 and the other is gonna see the number 6, right? So that's kind of like how, that's basically like, I feel like the simplest concept to explain a perspective. It's how you view an object from your own point of view, right? That's a perspective, you see. So what we're trying to do, so when we use a perspective matrix in, graphics or WebGL in general, in computer graphics or WebGL in general, is because we're trying to add that, human eye ability, where now you can view the object in a form of a perspective. So what that does is that it adds a little bit of realism to the object, right? So when an object is viewed from a perspective point of view, it begins to feel 3D, right? And then let me show you what I mean, right? So first I'm gonna come down here at the bottom, and I'm gonna create my perspective matrix. I'm gonna say function. Function. I'm gonna call it perspective, right? And first I'm gonna say FOV for my field of view. And then I'm gonna have my aspect. And then I'm gonna have my near plane. And I'm gonna have my far plane, right? And then I'm gonna say let f be equal to 1.0 divided by the math function dot tan, and then inside I'm going to say FOV divided by 2, and then I'm going to say let range inverted be equal to it's gonna be equal to 1 divided by our near plane subtract our far plane, right? And then now I can say return our float 32 array. And then what I'm gonna say f divided by the aspect. I'm gonna say 0 0 0, and then I'm gonna say 0. I'm gonna say f 0 0 0, and then I'm gonna say 0 0, and then I'm gonna say bracket. I'm gonna say near say 0, 0, and I'm gonna say our near plane times our far plane, and then I'm gonna say times our range inverted, range inverted times 2, then I'm gonna say 0. So this is the formula for our perspective matrix, right? Okay, cool. And then now I'm gonna come over here, my vertex shader. So I'm gonna create a uniform. So I'm gonna create a new uniform. I'm gonna call it uniform mat4. mat4. I'm gonna call it projection. Right? So I'm creating a projection matrix. I'm gonna multiply it here in my vertex shader. Right? Cool. And then what do I have to do now? Now I have to come over here. So I'm just gonna copy this line. Control C. And then I'm gonna say, let me see. Okay, paste. And then I'm gonna call this P. And I'm gonna write projection here. Projection, right? And then while I'm here, I'm gonna say let project. I'm gonna say let the project be equal to perspective. And then now I have to add in my values. So for my first value is my field of view. So my field of view is basically the angle, right? Is the angle at which I'll be viewing my objects. So I'm gonna use the math function. I'm gonna say math dot pi, and then I'm gonna divide it by 4. And then I'm gonna add my aspect. So my aspect is my canvas dot width. I'm gonna divide that by my canvas dot height. So what this does, so my aspect basically is so that the object should fit properly onto the screen. It shouldn't look funny or stretch in any way, right? So next thing is my near plane. So I'm going to say 0.1. So what this means is this is as near as the object should appear. So that means the nearest distance that the object should appear on the screen is 0.1. Anything above that, it shouldn't show, right? And then my far plane, I'm just going to say 10. So that's my far plane. So that's saying that this is as far as my object can be viewed, right? Anything above 10, it shouldn't show the object at all. Cool. Now I just come over here, just copy this line, Control C, and then I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm gonna write projection. Let's see. I'm gonna write project, and then I'm gonna say P, P for perspective. And if I save this and then I go back to the browser, okay, we see nothing. Let's see where we went wrong. Why do we see nothing? We see nothing. Okay, let me try and fix it here. Control S. Let's see now. Okay, we still see nothing. Let's go and see what's going on. my video should be okay. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me try and fix the translate. Let me see, -3, -3, Control S. Maybe it's too far. Okay, still nothing is showing. Let me try and see where the problem went. Wait, oh, I see. I didn't specify that it's supposed to be a new float 32 array. Say this, and then there you go. There's our object, right? Now notice that I did something over here in our scale, no, translate matrix. I changed this to -3, right? So if I take this back to the original, which was 0, we should see something, right? You see, now look, our object is, it's enormous to the point whereby we only see the colors, not the sides. Why is this happening? It's because now that we're using a projection or a perspective matrix, now our object is being viewed based on our field of view and stuff like that, based on our perspective. And how we control that is we use the translation matrix. So the minute you add a perspective matrix like this, your translation matrix now becomes your camera. No longer just becomes your perspective, it becomes your camera, because now you're using it to kind of like view the object from different angles, the way the human eye would do that, right? So remember here in our perspective matrix, we said that the closest our object would appear is 0.1. So anything above that, it won't show, right? So if I put 1 here, let's see 1, we should see nothing, right? We see nothing because why? Our near plane is 0.1 over here. This is the closest our object will appear. So if I put 0.1 here, we should see our object a little bit, because you see that's the closest our object would appear. So another person would ask, why am I only changing the Z in my camera over here? The reason is that Z, well, in the three-dimensional space, your z-axis is the one that represents how close or how far an object is from you. X and y are just normal, like x and y, like different normal, your x and y direction. But your z-axis represents how far or how close the object is to you, right? So the reason I'm playing with my z over here is because I'm controlling how far or how close the object is. So currently, because we declared our near plane over here to be 0.1, or if I put z at 0.1 here, our object becomes very close because this is our closest near plane. And if I put 10 over here, you're going to see this is the furthest our object is going to appear. Okay, it's not showing because 10 is kind of like too far. Let's put something like, I don't know, oh no, not 10 per se, like -10, right? It's a -10. There we go. You see, minus. Why am I using minus? So when a number, when you increase, when your z is positive, that's how close the object is to you. And when your z is negative, that's how further the object is to you, regardless of what you declared here in your perspective matrix. Like in your perspective, you declared them that it's 10 and 0.1, they're both positive, yes. But when it comes to your camera, which is the one that allows you to view your object in the three-dimensional space, you use negative to declare how far the object should appear from you, and you make it positive to declare how close the object should be. So as you can see, -10, this is the furthest the object would appear to us. So if I keep decreasing, maybe let's like go to -11. the object should disappear, because we declared here that our furthest um, field of view is 10. Anything above that, our object won't be visible, right? So with kind of this analogy, our object has now become real 3D, basically, because we now have a perspective matrix that allows us to view our object in a perspective way, like the way the human eye works, right? That's what a perspective matrix does. So if I bring this back to like -9 or minus, let me say -8, you don't see the object properly now. Yeah, you see there it is right over there. And if I move my x and y here, right, people would say I moved the object. Technically, I didn't move the object. What moved is the human eye, right? What happened here is my perspective of the object moved in the x-axis. So basically, it's like you moved the way you were viewing the object. I'm not sure if I make sense. Like the object, it's still in its original location. When I change my x and y over here, the object didn't move. It's my view of the object that changed, right? Kind of like to add that 3D realism that we were talking about, you know. So yeah, this is a perspective matrix, and we use it to add realism to our object. So now this object look is not it doesn't just look 3D, it actually is 3D because of we added our projection matrix, or no, our perspective matrix. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.